I just want to remind the people who are just getting here, watch your step. There's some steep grades that go down and you can take a nasty fall, so please be careful. This right here behind me is the well of Conchita. This is where she washed, cooked, and cleaned with this water. And cooked with, washed with, or something else.
The well?
Nothing. Thank you very much. I'm losing my train of thought there. And this house right behind you, it's the only house in town that has blue window frames and shutters. And that's the house of Conchita. That's where she lived until the time she left the United States. And it was out of that, not that door, but that whole section of building right there was hers. And I'm going to take you on the walk that she walked. Oh, by the way, just so you know, those darkest trees that are all the way at the top there, they're the pines. Oh. Okay? And they were, I'll tell you a little bit about that later. Okay? I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, so now I'm going to take you on the walk of the Eucharistic miracle. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, during the apparitions, the girls asked Our Lady to give a miracle as an attestation and a proof that she was in fact appearing here. So Our Lady said okay, and the invisible communion that no one could see would become visible for all the people that were there. Okay, and Conchita announced the date 15 days in advance, and then on the night of the miracle, well, actually it was the next morning. Okay, she came out of this door. The door is right here. This is all connected. Okay, all this is connected. And I was told that she came out of this door right here. Now try and imagine people so dense and tightly packed like sardines, because there were so many people waiting to see this, okay? Hundreds and hundreds of people were in the street. And so she had family members and friends that were acting as a human shield to protect her from the press of the crowds. So she came out of her house in ecstasy. There was nothing in her mouth. There was nothing in the roof of her mouth or under her tongue or on her tongue, okay? She came out, she made a left, turned the corner, okay? And she drops to her knees right at this spot, right here. It's not her house. I think it's the neighbor's house. But she came behind and she drops to her knees right here. And the sign says, and this is a poor translation, but it's in front of this house, the communion became visible, given by the angel to Conchita Gonzalez, Sunday the 18th of July. Careful, folks. Sunday the 18th of July, 1962. Now, there's something about this that I need to correct. The record needs to be corrected here, okay? Yes, it is true that Conchita announced 15 days in advance that it would be on the 18th of July, 1962. Now, here's the problem. It actually wasn't the 18th. It was the 19th, and it was at 1:30 in the morning. Now, why? Let me explain. In 1962, all of the Catholic Church followed the canon law of 1917. And in the 1917 Code of Canon Law, it was very clear, and it stated that a Catholic layperson could only receive Holy Communion once a day. Now, Conchita had received communion that morning on Sunday, okay? So here you have the angel waiting until it was canonically legal for her to receive communion. Isn't that extraordinary? If there's anything that carries the mark of authenticity, it's that. Why would the devil respect the law of the church? It wouldn't. It would never. And so here you have the angel that gave her communion out of deference and respect to the church doing exactly that. So I think that's remarkable. But it should say 19, and I don't know why it doesn't. But anyway, okay, so if you'll follow me. Now on the left, if you want to buy a book, there's a great bookstore here. We sell books too, but there's also another bookstore here. And it's called the Libreria. The 18th of June, 1961. And the girls were playing in this calleja, and they were picking apples. Now, there used to be a tree that grew on the opposite side of that wall right there. And this is a newer structure here, but there used to be a house that was the schoolmaster's house, and he had an apple tree, and they were picking apples off of his apple tree. Maybe something they should have been doing, but they heard this clap of thunder, and Conchita looked up and saw this, and it was St. Michael the Archangel. And the other girls, they were like, what's with her? She's in this, trance, looking up in ecstasy. And so they all looked up, and then they all saw. Okay? So Conchita she was the first to see. And that happened right at that very spot. And they have a little tile work of art made of tiles. It's not a mosaic, but it's made of tiles. What's that? Right. There you go. And it marks the spot right there. Now, there were many, many apparitions that took place in this calleja, okay, in this path. And the girls would actually run forwards and backwards, top speed, breakneck speed, with their heads aloft, looking at the apparition, never tripping once, never falling, never making a misstep. Now, when you walk up here, I'm not telling you, just you realize how difficult it is to walk without looking down, okay? Because you really need to see where you're walking, because there's so many obstacles and so many places, pitfalls and trips that you could take, okay? But no, they never tripped once, not once. And they also, when the girls would stop, when they were in these real fast runs, they would actually, now normally, if you have a boy and a girl in the same class, most times, if they're the same age, the boy might be a half a step faster than the girls, okay? Yeah. They're maybe just a little bit faster, okay? Maybe. Well, every time the girls were in ecstasy or when they were in these ecstatic runs, they would outpace the boys. Now here's something else that's very curious. When they would come to a stop, they would stop as though they hit a brick wall, okay? Now, this defies the laws of physics, okay, the natural laws, because now, ordinarily, if you're running at top speed, you can't stop like you're hitting a brick wall. You're carried by inertial forces and natural momentum, and you have to slow down before you can stop completely. Well, when they would stop, the boys that were trailing behind them, trying to catch up with them, running behind them, well, they would take, several meters to stop before they could come back and be where the girls are. So that's curious, isn't it? But anyway, when the girls would have the ecstasies in this path, to protect them from the press of the crowd, they would construct this a temporary makeshift, almost like a stockade. It was called the quadra, and that's what they would use to protect them, to keep the crowds at a distance, okay? Let's see. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's keep moving forward. Okay. And once again, just please watch your step. If you feel tired, then the grandfather of Conchita, and he planted the pine trees in commemoration of a group of children that had received their first Holy Communion. Now, there were actually more than 9. There were, who knows how many, maybe 20, but there were 9 pine trees from the original pine trees that were planted that survived. And many years after that, one of the trees was struck by lightning, and a few winters ago finally fell, and they planted a new tree to bring the total back up to 9. And it's a much smaller diameter trunk. You can tell right away it's a lot newer. But many, many apparitions took place up there at the Pines, and I think it's also interesting to note that there's this connection between Holy Eucharist, First Holy Communion, and the pine trees. So, I mean, you have a place that the people have been praying the rosary every single day, never missing one single day for over 500 years. You have the significance of the pine trees in connection with our Lord in Eucharist. And this is just a holy place, folks. This is a very special place. If there's any wonder why Our Lady chose this place, I think those are really good reasons. Okay? Now, there's something else I neglected to mention. I beg your pardon. You see that big desert plant? I think it's an agave. Well, behind that plant, there's a big rock, and that rock, upon that rock, above that rock, appeared Saint Michael the Archangel, and that's what the plaque says right in front of it. A lot of times, when people come here, they like to touch it before they leave. So if you'd like, you can. But you're welcome to, before we make our final ascent to the pines. And what we'll do is, I don't know how long, Colum, you'd like to stay up there, if you want to stay a long time or not, but I'm going to go up and I'm going to wait until the last person makes it up to the top, and then I'll pray one decade of the Rosary silently, and then anybody that wants to come with me, we can go back the long way, which is flat and level. There is a steep grade, but it's a lot easier on your feet because it's paved. Okay?
Is that the concrete?
Precisely.
Aye.
Yeah, I'll take you the long way back. Okay?
Well, Michael, we know the way. Probably when we get up to the top, we'll stay for a little while and do some prayer.
Okay.
And then we'll not hold you back.
Okay.
We'll make our own way back.
Excellent. Okay.
You're going to go back the other way?
All right.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I think that would suit. Yes, it would suit some of our people.